Hey, I'm back with another video. Now today I'm reacting to Jesse Lee Peterson demolishes pro-black guests instantly. Let's see if that's what happens. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. I don't waste no time. I hop right into the video. You know I love y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. Oh, it's already started. I feel still back. All right, let's go forward.
I would call you a pretty self-hating black man, to be honest. For example, you make statements
You call me that?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, good. You call me that?
Yes.
What do you call me?
A pretty self-hating black man.
What?
Yeah, listen.
And why?
It's not to be offensive.
No,
it's
be
just
offensive.
Okay.
And today, are you acting white or black right now?
I'm acting like myself.
But you sound white.
I don't think I sound white
No,
at
you
all.
speak pretty white. Do you believe in internal racism?
Oh, absolutely.
Internalized racism?
Absolutely.
Because I read that in 2020 you put out a video on internalized racism.
Sure, it was a
and
very painful
self-hatred.
experience. Yes.
What is internalized racism?
Well, in my case, and I think it can vary from person to person, in my case, internalized racism kind of demonstrated itself in the sense that I had all of these negative stereotypes specifically about black people that I realized it gave me this sort of mentality that I needed to impress white people. So then in certain circles, I would change my way of speaking. I would carry myself in specific ways so as to distance myself from what I considered to be blackness. And I felt that I realized that my doing that was based on a lot of these misconceptions and negative stereotypes of black people. And I think that realizing that was really painful for me because it made me realize there was a part of myself that I was disliking.
And so when you be around white people, you will act white?
Sure. I would maybe just change my... Yeah, sure.
Code switching is what he's talking about. He's talking about code switching. So yeah, let's see.
Change my diction, change my interests, and, kind of chameleon-like fit in with white people while doing everything to distance myself from blackness.
And then when you're around black people, you act black?
Sure. I think it's called code switching.
What way will you become black?
I think I changed my diction quite a bit. I think my musical choices would be different. I like all genres of music, except for like pretty much heavy metal. But like, for example, I like country music. I wouldn't listen to country music around black people. I wouldn't like volunteer that I like country music back in the day. Just those kinds of things where it was just anything culturally black, I would intend to.
That's interesting, man. You gotta hide who you are in front of certain groups of people, though. It's deep, no matter who you're talking to.
Generally, just kind of distance myself from it.
Really? And what made you do that?
I don't know. I was raised in a pretty white society, where I grew up, and I felt like I had experienced a decent amount of racism. And I think part of my response to avoid conflict was to just try to distance myself from blackness.
Oh, I see. And today, are you acting white or black right now?
I'm acting like myself.
But you sound white.
I don't think I sound white
No,
at
you
all.
speak pretty white.
I think I speak
You speak all
intelligently.
correctly and intelligent.
Do you not think black people can speak intelligently?
No.
Well, what am I?
Oh man, why nigga said no? He trolling. He trolling, man. This dude is beyond trolling, man.
Mine.
But I'm
You think
trying
I'm
to
a
figure
black
out
person?
now, are you being white with me or are you being black with me?
Oh, I speak like myself. So here's what it
You
is.
sound white.
Okay, I disagree with that. I think black people can speak rather intelligently.
Where are they?
Right here in front of you.
No, other than you.
My family, all of them.
Oh, they act white.
I don't think they act white. I think they speak intelligently. I'd say this. So my mother, very college-educated woman, she really instilled very much. And her father, who wasn't college-educated, were really, really big on just speaking properly. And I think we grew up with this as like a, part of just something that was necessary. We got chastised by other children for speaking white.
Other black children.
Other black children, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think those sorts of things, it created some sort of distance. So in the sense that you start feeling like a loss of a sense of belonging because certain people are chastising you for speaking differently than they do.
That's being kids and growing up like
Yeah, for sure. And I think you start internalizing a bunch of those things and you start feeling like, man, maybe I'm not black enough, or maybe I'm, and all of those kinds of things. And so I think I've overcome a lot of that. That's
So do you
immature
identify?
thinking.
That's messed up. really don't have a lot to say to that, but it's messed up. I just want to say that part at least.
I'm more with white or black.
I'm a black man and I identify with blackness.
You
I
date
just realized
white
that all of this is a black part of the
Do
black
you date
experience.
white girls?
No, I do not.
You don't date white girls?
No, I date black girls exclusively.
When you were white,
Is he being funny talking like that, or is do he really talk like that?
did you date white girls?
I don't think I was ever white, but I would say when I was around white people, I found everyone attractive. I think probably the last 3 years when I kind of moved more black exclusive.
And so do you, at one time you dated white girls? Were
Sure.
you more white?
Sure, I've been with white women.
You've dated white women?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Is it? I think, they're women.
Amazing.
What?
They're women. They're just like anyone else.
Do you date Mexican women?
Oh my gosh, those were my favorite in high school. My Spanish used to be on point.
See?
Yeah.
So what is self-hatred?
I would think self-hatred is, again, oh my gosh, I think one of the easiest way of exemplifying it, there was this doll test that happened with these young children where they were doing, like, I think from like 4 to 6 to 7 years old, and they had them answering questions about attributes of dolls, white and black, and the kids are able to immediately, like when they ask them about negative attributes, they assign those to the black dolls. But the thing that was the most harmful about one of those things I saw was there was a black kid, she was doing the doll test, and she said that, like, so she was assigning all the negative attributes to the blackness, and then when they asked her which doll more looks like you, she pointed to the black doll. So she was calling herself, in that sense, like, maybe indirectly, mean and bad and misbehave and all of these negative attributes. And I think that a lot of times black people can do that. I would call you a pretty self-hating black man, to be honest. Because, for example, you make statements
You
like...
call me that?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, good. You call me that?
Yes.
What do you call me?
A pretty self-hating black man.
What the?
Yeah, listen,
And why?
it's not to be offensive.
No,
I think
no,
it's
be
just
offensive.
Okay, well, all right, but it's just
And
that you
why?
say things like, I'm black and I'm
Be
slow,
offensive.
or I'm black and I'm dumb. And it's like you assign these negative attributes towards black people, which are just not universally applied. We could look at white people in Appalachia and see something that we could see some pretty dumb white people there too.
So when I
think
say
dumbness is just a general thing that can apply to all humanity.
When I say I'm black and slow, the black people think I'm talking about all blacks.
I think when you say you're black and you're slow, you're black and you're slow, we recognize that there are these stereotypes that already exist, and so then when you reaffirm that thing, your white audience views that thing and says to themselves, "See, so black people are pretty slow." They tend to apply those things
See,
generally,
when I say I'm black and slow,
people will assume
white people and
assign that
black
to
people
all.
think I'm talking about all black people.
I recognize that you obviously have to know the difference between that, but I don't think everyone's thinking so deeply about it, and I would say that some of your constituency will assign those attributes across the board.
And why do you think that?
Because we already see that it happens on a regular basis.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, some of the times where you will mention things like criminality within black men, right? Or criminality within whatever. And so you have these people that just automatically assume that black people in general are this way. And so then it's hard for people to distinguish between individuals when they're thinking generally. And I would say
But
that's
how do
why.
you know that that's what white people think, though?
Well, so there's a number of studies that have already suggested things like, obviously when it comes to like hiring, there were studies that like demonstrated that even black and white people with the exact same resumes were when applying for a job, the black people were getting 50% less callbacks because some of these people in these positions have negative stereotypes about black people, which makes them feel like they shouldn't extend it to...
I know I haven't paused it. I'm just letting them talk, but I'm like really trying to figure out where to give my opinion on this. Because I know dude is trolling and it's funny, but like I don't see nothing wrong with what the other guy's saying either. Like I feel like I've experienced that myself in society. So it's a pretty good conversation for real.
them the opportunity of their direct employment.
So do you think that if black people were to stop being that way, being all mean and loudmouth and dirty and hated the whites and being
There's that
late,
black hatred. There's that self-hatred I was talking
being
about.
late,
Was I on time today?
and complaining, do you think if white people acted differently, the normal people would see them differently?
I think black people already act differently. So we already recognize that black women are literally some of the most educated demographic in the country right now by a percentage. We recognize already that, again, criminality is not very common within black culture. It's disproportionately found in black culture.
It's very common.
It's disproportionately found in black culture.
Disproportionately common.
Disproportionately disproportionately found in black culture. But do you think that the average black person is a criminal?
Yeah.
So you would say more than
The average black person is a criminal? Come on, man. He trolling. My man trolling.
Maybe a little bit more than that.
Oh my lord! So
But
okay,
let me ask you this,
I can see that lack of information is where that self-hatred
But
comes
let me
from.
come back to something. If black people were to act civilized,
I think we
do
do.
you think the rest of the world would see them in that way?
I think black people act civilized.
No, you're not asking a question. If they stop robbing and stealing and
The majority of
killing
black people don't rob
and hating
Or
cops and
or kill.
begging for affirmative action, reparation, and free stuff, would the rest of the world see them as normal people if they acted normal?
Do you think? First off, I'm just gonna say, the average black person doesn't steal. Criminality is still going to be the minority of African Americans. So if we take 100 African Americans, not 50% of them are going to be criminals, right?
So if black
So
people
then that means the
were to
majority of them
act-
aren't criminals.
If they were to act normal, would we see them differently?
What do you mean by act normal?
Stop being blaming and begging and robbing and killing. And
So
and they
the
want-
majority of black
even
people
when
don't
they-
rob, kill,
When they go
or
into the
beg.
schools, when they want to get into the white schools,
Mm-hmm.
we have to lower the standard to let them in because they say the SAT score is white,
Jesse,
everything's white.
who's the largest recipient of affirmative action?
That's not what I asked you.
Really quickly. No, I got you, but this is really related to what you're saying. Hold on.
I need an answer for
I
that.
got you. Just listen to this really
No,
quickly.
no.
Okay,
If
go
they
ahead.
acted differently, would we treat them differently?
I don't believe
Or
that.
see them?
I don't believe that black people act the way you're saying, so I don't understand. So your question doesn't really seem well
You
founded.
don't know we have to lower the standard to let them into the white schools?
It's crazy that you say that when the largest recipient of affirmative action is
Are
white
white.
women.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
Do you know that we have to lower the standard to let the blacks in?
Are we lowering the standard to let white women into
You're
school?
not answering the question.
I don't. That's not the case.
No, we don't lower it for the white women, just the black women.
I listen, Jesse. I scored in the top 5% of my entire state, so They didn't have
But
to
that was
lower any sort of
affirmative
thing.
action.
No.
Yeah, I guarantee you didn't earn it.
I outscored all of my state on state testing. I was in the top 5 percentile.
Right.
So while you might say that's
But
affirmative
that's
action,
not real though.
what's not real?
Because behind the curtain they lowered the standard. They saw there was a black student, so they lowered it.
I don't think you have an accurate understanding
No, I'm
of how
telling you.
affirmative action works.
At UCLA, they lowered the standard so low now you can't find your way out. So that
Jesse,
blacks can get in.
Okay, listen. I'm sorry. You don't understand how affirmative action works. I don't know how to.
No,
how to
I
do
do
it.
understand how it works.
You think that they
Lower
lower?
the standard.
Do you think
So
they lower the test scores, or they lower the standard for when?
everything at this point? At
So
first,
they just raise the test scores of black kids.
no, they lower it for the blacks and bring them.
Okay.
I mean, they lower it for the whites and bring it up for the blacks.
Like
so
the
they-
test scores.
So they can pretend that the blacks are earning it.
The test scores?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't for affirmative action, blacks would not be in white schools.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know how else to engage with it. I think I outscored like the vast majority of white kids. I outscored
But
the
that's
vast
hard
majority
to
of the
believe
state.
because you're black, and I know that.
That's that self-hatred.
I know that blacks are not earning their way.
Oh, see, that's that internalized racism. You
Why is that
automatically-
internalized to face
because-
reality?
No, it's not
Face
reality.
reality.
Jesse.
Who begged for affirmative action?
So,
Who begged for affirmative action?
white women, they get
No.
it the most.
They got it because they rob. Everybody use blacks to get what they want when they want dirty stuff. But what race is fighting for affirmative action?
White women, because they get it the most.
You're not being honest.
I'm being completely honest.
No, it's black people.
Do you think that the...
Where do you live in America?
Of course.
You don't act like it.
Huh?
You don't act like it.
How do I act?
Like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you. That was crazy. He trolling. He big trolling. Like he big trolling. My man big trolling. He big trolling. Anyways, though, y'all, I'm out. Peace. Y'all almost saw me leave. Y'all still get to see me leave. Shit.